What's up? Welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. We're talking about some leaked secrets, some leaked government secrets. Here are the top 10 classified government programs that got leaked to the world. Number 10, the FBI files on Bigfoot. Yeah, let's talk about those. Why not? Because they exist, apparently. Bigfoot, also known as Sasquatch, had all of his FBI files released in response to the Freedom of Information Act back in 2019. The files contained correspondence between the FBI and individuals who claimed to have evidence or sightings of Bigfoot from the 1970s all the way to the 1990s. The FBI conducted a limited analysis on some of these items submitted, including hair and tissue samples. We got some Bigfoot DNA. He's walking by, scratching, and we found a hair or two. They ultimately concluded that the samples were of no scientific value, but they're still files, which is terrifying. The files also contain internal memos discussing how to respond to calls about Bigfoot, but overall, the FBI's involvement with the creature was sadly quite minimal. I know, I want him to be real too. I really want him to exist. He'd be funny to bump into on the street with that goofy walk. He has a powerful stride, Bigfoot, eh? He has like those, it's all in the quads for him, for sure. Number 9, Full House. During World War II, the United States and Britain, they would secretly create these maps, tiny little maps, these cheat sheets almost, that could help prisoners of war escape from German camps. Now these maps were then printed on thin paper and disguised as regular playing cards. How badass is that? The cards were designed so that they could be peeled apart to then reveal a detailed map of a specific area that would help prisoners navigate safely away. Anywhere else is great. The decks were often given to prisoners by aid organizations or distributed by covert operatives, which I gotta say, what a scary job that would be. That's like some Inglourious Bastards type stress right there. Playing cards, dealing them out to the right people. That is so brave. Oh my gosh. The fear of being caught, I couldn't even imagine. The plan was successful in helping many prisoners escape, and it's considered a remarkable example of resourcefulness and bravery on all ends during a time of war. That's, again, I can't even shuffle cards, let alone do this. Are you kidding me? Number 8, Project Seesaw. In the 1960s, the US military explored the possibility of weaponizing lightning as part of a program called, you guessed it, Project Seesaw. Yeah, weaponizing lightning, like they're Thor, I guess. The goal was to use rockets to inject chemicals into thunderstorms, triggering lightning strikes that could then be directed towards enemy targets with thin wires. Now, it sounds insane. It definitely was. Didn't quite work out. The project was ultimately, thankfully, abandoned due to technical and logistical challenges. Yeah, you can't predict where a lightning strike is going to happen, and the difficulty of accurately targeting them as well. It's not going to work out. We're not Tony Stark. We're not doing the Avengers weaponry stuff. There was also concerns about the potential environmental impact of the program. Can't just send shit into clouds, guys. Despite its failure, Project Seesaw remains an example of how far humans will go in the name of warfare. Weaponized lightning? Listen to yourself. Number 7, Iran military dolphins. Back in the 1990s, Iran reportedly began training dolphins for military purposes, which sounds so crazy it's almost funny in a way. I don't know, it reminds me of sharks with laser beams attached to their foreheads. Sounds made up, it sounds insane. These military dolphins are trained for many tasks, including detecting underwater mines, locating enemy divers, and identifying underwater obstacles. Again, kind of hilarious, kind of terrifying. The use of animals in military ops is sadly not new. With dolphins and sea lions, they've been trained before by various countries for harbor defense. However, the program in Iran has not been independently verified, and there is little information available about its current status. So, sleep in fear, I guess. These dolphins are off the radar. They're actually below the radar. Number 6, Nimitz UFO. Back in 2004, a group of US Navy pilots led by Commander David Fravor encountered a UFO. Found a UFO in the sky while conducting a training exercise right off the coast of California. This object was dubbed the Tic Tac, apparently displayed advanced capabilities that were unlike any known aircraft ever. In 2017, the Pentagon declassified these videos of the encounter and confirmed that it was part of a larger program called the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. The incident sparked widespread interest and debate about the possibilities of extraterrestrial life existing and the government's role in investigating them. Yeah, what's going on? I don't know, comment down below. Do you believe in aliens? I kind of do. It'd be weird if you didn't, right? All that space out there, we're the only ones. Number 5, Operation Snowbird. I thought losing my phone was bad. Boy, here we go. Back in the 60s, a US Air Force plane carrying lots of nuclear materials, it crashed in the Himalayan mountains near the border between India and China. Just the thing you want. The crash site was difficult to access, obviously, where it crashed, and the US government mounted a secret mission codenamed Operation Snowbird. The mission was to recover the materials, ideally. The mission was hampered by the harsh terrain and altitude sickness among the recovery team. It was almost next to impossible. Although some of the plutonium was recovered, thankfully, a significant amount was left behind and still remains missing to this day. Number 4, Big Brother is watching. Even allies of the United States aren't safe here. Thanks to Edward Snowden, at the end of October 2013, it was leaked that the states were spying on Germany, France, Spain, and even themselves. That's fun. The NSA had tapped into 35 phones. They were spying on 35 world leaders, not just random people. World leaders, that's pretty invasive. One of which was German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who called out the NSA after they found out and said that this act of snooping was just unacceptable between friends. That's a hard quote. That one hits the heart, really. Now, as you hear this, you're thinking, well, hey, Taylor, I'm not a world leader. What's the big deal here? What do I care? Well, it was also reported that the NSA was monitoring phone calls in Spain for the average folk. Apparently, they monitored around 60 million calls in 1 month, randomly, so yeah, world leader or not, better whisper on the phone, better hang up. It's still pretty jarring. Number 3, leaked voters. Back in December 2015, pretty recent, scary, personal information from 191 million voters was all leaked to the public online. Researcher Chris Vickery found this data while conducting a security investigation. Now, Forbes had described Vickery as, dare I say, a good hacker, because they exist. They're called white hat hackers. They find weak spots in security without sabotaging or exploiting them. That's pretty cool. It's like some Tony Stark stuff. That's the Donnie difference right there. They don't ruin the world. 79% of those eligible to vote were the victims here. All their names, addresses, birth dates, phone numbers, and emails, even those stupid emails you had back in the day, you name it. Things you don't want other people finding out was all let to the public. And it was all let out to third parties. We're still unsure who was behind this entire leak. If you have any hints, comment down below. Tag them, right? CSO Online and databreaches.net suggested that the information here more than likely came from software provider called Nation Builder. But CEO Jim Gilliam announced that that was not the case and that they did not create the database. Although, people lie, so who really knows? He conceded that it is possible that some of the information it contains may have come from the data that they make available for free to campaigns. So a third party took it and then ran with it. That's terrifying. It's almost worse than if he leaked it himself. Number 2, WikiLeaks war logs. Oh, this one was pretty big. I definitely remember this going down. In Stockholm, buried around 100 feet below street level, is an old nuclear bunker. Today, it's a facility owned by Swedish internet provider Bahnhof. Now, this is where they keep servers for WikiLeaks. Yeah, pretty important, pretty spooky stuff. Julian Assange, frontrunner of this whole operation, his hard drive is in this bunker. Stored behind a 2-foot steel door accompanied by numerous backup generators, so it's not going anywhere, and you're definitely not getting in, no way. In October 2010, WikiLeaks actually published Army field reports from earlier, back in 2004. Now, one of the biggest leaks in US history. This report confirmed that there were over 66,000 civilian deaths in the Iraq war logs, out of the 109,000 in total. This leak also suggested that some American troops were classifying civilians as enemies in their statistics, which changes a lot of things, changes a lot of numbers around. Looks not great. These numbers were from 2004 to 2009 alone. It was a big leak. And finally, number 1, hide your money. Putting your money in your mattress sounds a lot safer than, well, how I'm about to finish. Let's do it. Back in 2016, journalists all over the world were looking into the Panama Papers. Basically, it was a plethora of leaked documents, just a loot bag of all things bad. These all came from a law firm, Mossack Fonseca. Now, the operation here was that the firm would help the super rich hide their money in these offshore tax havens. And before you ask, yes, they got caught, and yes, this whole thing was shut down. In total, there were 140 politicians from 50 countries who were all in on it. They were all busted, including the Saudi Arabian Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and Iceland's former Prime Minister, Sigmundur David Gunnlaugsson. Basically, lock your phone, delete all your files, just make another identity for yourself. I don't know, things are scary out there. Be safe. Lock everything. Password protect. Do the high school teacher security questions. Why not? You know what I mean? I've been your host, Taylor McWaters. Keep being you, and we'll see you next time on Most Amazing Top 10. Peace.